What are you doing? What are you doing, silly girl? Are you a puppy dog? Hello, friends. Welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread.
Look!
What?
Behind you!
Who's behind me?
Behind you!
Behind me? Someone behind me?
Behind me!
Oh, it's an Amos. He's cute. He is cute. He's a cute little stinker. Hi, Amos.
Hi, Sophie.
Hey, Sophie. Hi, baby.
Hello. Oh. Okay.
I see Pap. He's so cute. I mentioned in a previous video that I was going to be removing some unneeded pipes out of the wall, and today's the day to do that. I have a set of pipe cutters in various sizes. I thought that might come in handy to have a set of them. Then I have this tool that is used to clean off the pipe after you cut it. And then this is called a shark bite end cap. It has a gasket inside there and teeth that grip onto the pipe, and those are all we needed. It's actually surprising just how easy it is to cut a pipe. You just pop this piece on here and spin it around a few times. And there it is. So we had a limited space in this area, and so we're actually going to be cutting these pipes into several pieces to get them all out of the wall. In a minute, baby. Hold on. Hold on. Look, I gotta put this right here. See? Uh-huh. Yeah, oh, there's a nail in the way. So with the pipes removed and everything cleaned up, I went ahead and refilled the wall with brand new insulation, and I'm closing out the wall with cedar slats, and we'll paint these later on after we've finished the rest of the kitchen. So here I'm frying up some beef bacon to use in a recipe that I've made countless times over the years, but it used to be made with ham, and that is scalloped potatoes. I always loved that comforting recipe and got the idea one day to use bacon instead of ham. Now this could be done with the beef bacon that you see me using here, which is actually made out of thin cut brisket, or of course you could use turkey bacon, but I'm really partial to that beef bacon. It is so good. So I'm cooking it up, just making it a bit brown on both sides, but not crispy or anything like that. And I'm dicing up some onion, which I'm going to saute in the drippings in the pan. Chopping up the bacon into bite-sized pieces. I add in some flour and let it cook for just a minute, and then I add in some whole milk, whisk it together, and then for some salt, some pepper, and some thyme. And then cook these together till a nice thick gravy develops. Then I layer the potatoes and the beef bacon and the gravy bit by bit in the pan. These are organic Yukon Gold potatoes, one of my favorites to use for this recipe. Now after everything is all spread into the pan, you cover it up with foil and you bake it. But I don't like aluminum foil to touch my food, so I lay down some parchment paper first and then cover it up. Then it goes into the oven. After it's baked, it is so, so good. Everything else about my kitchen has been absolute chaos lately, with tools tucked in corners and everything else. But I can sure set aside the time to make this for dinner. We've had a system of storms roll on in here in Arkansas. You can probably even hear the wind and the rain carrying on outside as I'm filming this audio for the video. It is March after all, in like a lion and out like a lamb, we hope. On this particular day, I decided to make matzo ball soup by request from Mr. Smith. Matzo ball soup is usually a chicken soup that you add in matzo balls too. We have a lot of chicken in the freezer that needs to get used, and I figure making a chicken soup is a great way to do that. I do have the recipe for matzo balls on my website. I'll put a link to that in the video description down below. I love this big antique bowl, and I use it all the time. Although I could have gotten away with using one of the smaller ones, because the matzo ball dough does have to refrigerate for a few hours. So I transferred it over to a smaller bowl to take up less space in the fridge. Alright, so I am working on making some matzo balls for dinner. Well, for the soup that's for dinner. I'm making some chicken soup. And Mr. Smith asked for some matzo balls because I've got a lot of chicken in my freezer that needs to get used up. And so this was chicken soup's always a good way to use up some chicken, I think, especially on a dreary, yucky day. So matzo balls are basically a dumpling that is made out of, instead of flour, it's a cracker meal, basically, matzah, the crunchy matzah that has been pulverized, like in a food processor, into crumbs. And you mix up the ingredients and you let it kind of chill in the refrigerator for a few hours just to kind of come together and set up. And then you roll it into these little balls like that. And then you simmer them in some salted water, just like you're cooking pasta. And then after they're done, you add them to your soup. So the recipe for these matzo balls is on my website. I'll put a link to that in the video description down below if you are interested in it. But they can really be added to whatever your favorite chicken soup recipe is. Well, Really, you could probably add them to any soup, but it's kind of traditional to serve them in chicken soup. Especially if, someone's got a cold or if it's just a dreary rainy day. Can't go wrong with chicken soup. So I saw that my friend Heather, the Needy Homesteader, did a quick little video today about the YouTube algorithm. Every so often, Google likes to update their algorithm system. And unfortunately, most of the time, it does not seem to be for the better. Because, I don't know about y'all, but I noticed that a while back when they did a search engine algorithm update, I could really no longer use Google for the searches because it was suggesting things from Reddit, which I never use. It was promoting as like the very first videos websites that were outdated. The information was no good. It just flat out stunk. And unfortunately, Google owns YouTube, and it's kind of the same situation. And, for years, YouTube has been very glitchy. We'll just call it glitchy, where people get unsubscribed from channels that they watch on a regular basis. And there just seems to be no rhyme or reason for it. YouTube just decides you don't really want to watch that person, and they do it for you. Now, I could see if maybe they unsubscribe you from people that you never watch, but even then, whose business is it for YouTube to do that? I've had it happen to me where I found myself unsubscribed from channels that I watched all the time. I just suddenly wasn't. And I thought maybe they had quit doing YouTube, that something had happened and they just stopped doing it. And I have had people say the exact same thing to me. They thought I had quit doing YouTube because they didn't see my videos anymore, and got to thinking about me and went and did a search only to discover that there was tons of videos and YouTube had unsubscribed them from my channel. And y'all, that is why I do a newsletter. After the matzo balls have been made, you cook them in some salted water just like you do pasta. So I started doing the email newsletter years and years ago, when after Facebook had built up their website and encouraged businesses and brands and everything to have a community on Facebook, have a place where they could interact with all their people and bring them all to Facebook. And then once all of the subscribers and followers and all that stuff arrived on Facebook, they said, oh, well, but if you want your people to see stuff, then you're going to have to pay us. It was like a giant bait and switch. I have almost 10,000 people who follow my Facebook page, and unless I pay Facebook to show them my content, the stuff that they said they wanted to see when they hit the like and follow button, Facebook's only going to show the content to a couple hundred people. That's it. And so by having an email newsletter, it gives me the ability to actually have control over a means of communication for the people who want to follow Cosmopolitan Cornbread. And so that is why I started doing the newsletter years ago, because, you know, any other social media platform that's out there or any other way of communicating with your people, it could be taken away. But because I actually pay for my newsletter service that I use to provide the emails to y'all for free, I'm in control of it. And so it is the best way to stay up to date on everything happening at Cosmopolitan Cornbread, whether it is new videos or new recipes or articles or anything like that. I usually send out on average about 2 emails per week. So I'm not going to be bombarding you every single day or multiple times a day with emails. It's just a couple emails throughout the week to let you know when there's a new video, let you know when there's new recipes, articles, when there's giveaways taking place, or any kind of news that I want to share with y'all. So if you're not already subscribed to the email newsletter, be sure to hit that link in the video description down below and sign up. And when you do, you will actually receive a welcome email in your inbox. In that email is a link to my free steam canner ebook. It's called Steam Canner Basics. It's all about using a steam canner, which y'all see me use all the time when I'm doing canning for high acid foods. It is a basic introduction to using one. It has information on safety, how to use it, and then I also include some of the recipes that I make often with the steam canner. And it actually included the 10 favorite ones at the time that I originally wrote it. Now I have updated it in the last day or so with just kind of tweaking the wording and making it a little bit more better. And that version is what is now available. And in my next email newsletter, I will include the link for the newer version. That way, if you are already subscribed to the newsletter, you will be able to access it as well. Now in my next video that comes up on Sunday, I will be sharing another canning recipe that I filmed a couple of weeks ago, and I've been kind of hanging on to it for March Canning Madness. And I'm also going to be sharing some details about canning with different types of jars, specifically using weck jars versus using the traditional mason jars or ball style jars. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that in that video as well. We've had some major storms roll through here today, and hopefully won't have too much more. It'll be a peaceful night throughout the night, I hope. And of course, we're going to hope for the best as far as all of the states that are supposed to be hit by this system. It's supposed to be a little bit of a doozy, but hopefully it's quick and painless for pretty much everybody. So I'm going to get back to making dinner. Now in a previous video, I showed an antique table that I had picked up at the antique store to put in this spot. But after I thought about it a bit, I decided that the one that I had been using as a desk would be a better fit. And so I swapped their places. The antique hickory table is my desk now, and this one is in the kitchen. You probably remember this one from my kitchen in Alabama. I thought this one would work better in this spot because when I don't need the added surface, I can drop the leaf down and have it out of the way. I have always loved this table, and I love having it in the kitchen. Oh, Ruby. She's afraid she's going to get yelled at for sneaking into the kitchen. Go. Go. All right, so my timer just went off on my matzo balls here. And so I'm going to pull out the chicken that I've had simmering in my soup. And we'll cut that up, and pardon if you hear the dogs drinking water around the corner. So I'll pull this out. Now, I didn't have any carrots in my fridge, but no worries because I had canned carrots in the pantry. So after the soup and everything cooked together, and it was basically ready to eat, minus the bay leaves that I need to capture and get out of there. So I'm just going to open up my jar of canned carrots. I'm going to drain out the liquid because there's plenty of liquid in the pot. And y'all, I love this handy little tool. This thing works so great for opening jar lids on canning jars, and it doesn't damage them, which means if you want to use those lids again for storage or whatever you want to use them for, you can, because they're not going to be bent or dented or anything like that. Now, this one in particular is a vintage one. I've had it forever, and when I got it, it actually still had the vintage wrapper on it, or the packaging, but there are companies that make a modern version of it. It looks basically exactly the same. You can get it on Amazon, and if you want one, I'll put a link in the video description for you. And you can see the two different colors in the chicken here, where the turmeric that was in the broth kind of dyed the outside of the chicken so that it has that yellow color. Now, the chicken soup recipe that I made here is actually a variation of another one that I make, and I actually don't know if I have either of these on my YouTube channel. And I don't think I have either of them on my website either. But if you would like to learn how I made this specific soup, I will put the instructions in the video description down below. And then when I add it to my website, I'll change that to the link for the printable. Hello! Hi, baby. Hmm?
Yeah, hi, Daddy. Yeah, hi, Daddy. Yeah, hi, Daddy.
Thanks for spending time with me here again at the homestead, friends. God bless, and I'll talk to y'all next time.